Hi everyone, my name is Dave Andrews and I pastor Riverside Community Church in Frankfurt. Craig asked me to share a bit of what has been happening here in Frankfurt and to do it in a couple of minutes, so let's just jump right in. A year ago, last June the 7th, our first Sunday actually in Frankfurt, also my 65th birthday, I stood on a flatbed truck in the parking lot of our church. And I declared that God wanted to bring freedom and healing and hope to our region. It was the beginning of COVID and some pretty tight restrictions on our churches. We felt it was vital to meet in person if possible. And so we stepped out in faith, and God just miraculously made a way for us to do that. Drive-in church, parking lot church, church in the park. 30% church, 15% church. I'm sure that you all remember. In person, though, was just so vital to us. Well, we grew from about 20 people to now just over 50. One of the realities of our church, and maybe yours as well, was that young people had walked away from church and from God. Parents mourned the fact that their now 20, 30-year-olds weren't serving the Lord. God gave me a word. It was a promise over a year ago that lost sons and daughters would come home. A year of loving people and being committed to being together with them. A year of declaring through worship God's love and goodness, that heaven would come down to earth if possible. Then miracles started to happen. Young adults that had been away, or some barely on the fringe, began to warm up to Sue and I. I knew that they were searching for more in life. Something was shifting. What was once cold and distant seemed to be changing. We had a worship event at the end of August in our town park, and some of these young adults came out. They were searching. The world was going crazy around them, and they were asking serious questions. Are these the last days? That weekend, two teens got saved that were staying in the park, in the RV part, and they've started to come to church. Just 2 weeks ago, when I got up to preach, I looked out and I saw that there were 6 young adults sitting all in the same row, prodigals. The message that day was simply that God cares, no matter where you're at. Zacchaeus, the man with leprosy, the woman caught in adultery, and the religious ones wanting to throw stones at her. I found myself asking for forgiveness. That really wasn't part of the script, but representing pastors and leaders and church people, just imperfect people who may have hurt someone that was listening that day. Well, long story short, that day, all 6 of those 20 to 30-year-olds came forward. They stood at an altar. They repented. They asked for forgiveness. They asked Jesus into their lives. Some had walked away as teenagers, never back inside a church. Our church was the church that they had walked away from. That morning I saw as moms and dads came forward, and they prayed and they wept with their sons and their daughters. One dad and mom saw their daughter, their son, and his girlfriend come forward, and they got to weep and pray with them as they rededicated their lives to Jesus. And I simply want to share that to encourage you today. We've watched how God has used us in the last year and a bit in Frankfurt, and believe me, it's not about us, but these are exciting days to be the church. And I want to encourage you. People are searching, they're hurting, and we've got the answer. And whatever it takes, whether it's where we meet or how we meet, but let's love on searching people. Let's find ways um, to express love to them and make a way for them to take that step of faith toward God. We're in this together. What a privilege it is to be a part of a harvest that I believe is happening in these last days. God bless you.